The 2026-27 Premier League season kicks off this week, so it's time to predict what is going to happen in this upcoming season. Now, this is my second time doing a video like this. The first time I did it, listen, I got some things horribly wrong. Liverpool winning the league, Sunderland going down, but I got some things right as well. City finishing second, United in the top 6, Haaland top goal scorer, Bruno Fernandes top assister. So I got some things spot on last season. Honestly, I got more right than wrong. So let's see if I can go one better this season. Guys, before I get into this video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Please, I want to hear your thoughts. And without further ado, we'll get right into the video. Now, the categories are top 5, relegated 3, top scorer, top assister, best manager, young player of the year, breakout star, overachievers, and underachievers this season coming up in the Premier League. Without further ado, let's get into my top 5 for this upcoming season. In 5th place, Chelsea. In 5th place, I got Chelsea. Some people might say, how? Honestly, look, Chelsea have one of the, in my opinion, 5 best squads in the league. Chelsea have a very, very good squad. Chelsea, their biggest issue has been, one, inexperience. It seems like every time I watch that team out on the pitch, like there's a lack of experience. There's a lack of know-how to win games and keep results consistent in the Premier League. Poor goalkeeping has not helped them as well. Injuries in the back line has not helped them as well. Levi Colwill is now back. That is a huge plus for Chelsea moving forward into next season. I think that's going to help them. Also, Xabi Alonso, a very, very good manager, a very, very accomplished manager so far in his short career. What he did with Leverkusen against Dortmund and Bayern in the Bundesliga, I think he can do something similar. Not win the league, but something similar, getting the best out of these Chelsea boys in this club. Now, you have Cole Palmer, you have Morgan Rogers, you have João Pedro. You have one of the best attacks or most talented attacks of any team in the Premier League. You should score enough goals in the league. You have Caicedo in the midfield. You still have Reece James, Cole, like I just mentioned. Losing Cucurella is a big loss. I understand that. Not signing a goalkeeper is a huge loss. I understand that. But they have enough to finish in the top 5. No world should Brighton, Brentford, Bournemouth be finishing above Chelsea this season. It just should not be. Sunderland, it should not be happening. So I think Chelsea fight back and make their way to 5th place. Also, experienced boys like Danny Welbeck, Jordan Henderson will help this squad as well. Will help Xabi Alonso as well, right? Another voice in that locker room. And gotta get these guys to knuckle down. Remember when Thiago Silva was there? You kind of saw that maturity a little bit in the club. You're going to see that, I think, more this season with those two guys and Xabi Alonso coming into the team. So Chelsea are my 5th place team. In 4th place, steadily just falling down and down, lower down the table as the years go on, in my opinion. Maybe not, but I have Man City in 4th place. Number of reasons. One, your midfield two that were so dynamic and so important for you in the last almost decade, it seems like, Rodri and Bernardo Silva are gone. They've gone to Barcelona and Real Madrid. That is a huge change for Man City in that midfield. So I think that is going to hurt them going into this season. New midfielders coming in. Elliot Anderson, maybe Buwadi comes in. I think a lot is going to hang on the shoulders of Erling Haaland. Ruben Diaz and Erling Haaland, you two are going to have to carry a lot of the load from Man City this season. Diaz defensively and Haaland, of course, in the attack. Score all the goals and you can fight your way into that top 4. But the biggest loss is obviously Pep Guardiola. For 10 years, terrorizing the league, all the players and the beautiful play, you don't have that anymore. You no longer have the best squad, in my opinion. You no longer have the best players, in my opinion. You definitely don't have the best manager anymore, in my opinion. So, all of that certainly tells me that Man City will finish worse off than they were last season. And I think they finish off in 4th place in this season. Now, if Erling Haaland wants to go crazy and score 35 goals, then obviously I have them. They could probably win the league if he scores that many goals. But I just think too many things have changed over this last summer. Too many players have left over this last summer. and I think that's going to hurt them. Also, Johnson's also left as well, so that's going to be huge for Man City. So I think they finished in 4th place. Now, 3rd and 2nd, kind of interchangeable for me. Honestly, I think either one of these two teams could finish in 3rd or 2nd, but I have reasons for putting one above the other, and the one I'm putting in 3rd place is Liverpool. The reason I'm putting my team in 3rd place is because, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not too impressed by the summer window. I'm not too happy with what I've seen in the summer window. Obviously, Jacquet and Leone will be fit this season. That will help the defensive woes, but still, Araujo comes in. I think he can do well in the Premier League. I'm actually more optimistic about him than some people are. So I think those two will help out. Those three will help out in the defense. No midfielders have come in. No defensive midfielders have come in. That's my biggest issue with this team, is that the defensive midfield is not solidified. What I saw from Gravenberch and McAllister 2 seasons ago was very, very good. Last season, horrible. How am I supposed to be confident that midfield can excel this upcoming season? I don't know. Florian Wirtz, Alexander Isak, you can't possibly be worse than you were last season. And if you are, you need to be sold. I don't see how you could be worse than you were last season. So I honestly believe that they will improve and they will look better moving forward into next season. Rio Gamoa has a big year, I believe. Victor Munoz comes in. So there's still some talent there, a lot of talent in that Liverpool team. But I think Iraola coming in changes a lot of things. We might see a little bit of a version of that Klopp era football in this team, but I think with a little bit more control. It has to be with more control, right? Because we cannot do that helter-skelter, up and down football. Van Dijk is 35 years old. It's not going to work out. It just won't work out, right? The midfield isn't as strong. It's not going to work out. So we have to kind of switch things up a little bit. But I do think the talent in that team is top 3 level. Top 3 level talent in that squad, right? They have enough players to get top 4 this season. I think they have enough players to get top 3 specifically in this season coming up. So Salah has not been replaced. You can never replace a player like that. It's a huge loss, but Liverpool still has enough to win enough matches and end up in 3rd place this upcoming season. And because of what I said earlier, I'm sure you guys can expect who will be in 2nd place. That is Manchester United. And Baleba coming through the door pushed them over the top for me. Without Baleba, I wouldn't have had them this high. But I do think signing a player like that, the midfielders that signed, Santos and Tielemans, they're good midfielders, good on the ball, good ball players. You know, they have their different skill sets, but they're not really ball winners. They're not really physically gifted. They're not really all around, all action, box to box, energetic midfielders. Every team in the top 5 that I'm going to talk about has these players. Chelsea, Caicedo. City, Anderson. Liverpool, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai. United did not have a player like that, and now they do. That is going to be huge for them. You still have that attack of Mbeumo, Sesko, Cunha, Ahmad, Rashford. You still have very good attackers. I do believe they should have strengthened in the defensive areas, right? I'm completely out on Harry Maguire and Lisandro Martinez. I don't believe they're Man United quality anymore. Like, if you want to win the league as United, those guys are not going to win you the league. I just don't believe it. But Euro and Heaven, decent last season. Euro, I'm still waiting to see Lenny Euro. I'm still waiting to see what he can produce for United. You don't really something at right back. Mazraoui and Dalot are good enough, but I do believe there needed to be strengthening at left back. The Lewis Hall talks I was hearing, where did that go? Sign Lewis Hall. People are fleecing Newcastle United for all their players. You should have taken Lewis Hall from them as well. So I think Luke Shaw and Dogu, who doesn't even want to be a left back, is not a good enough rotation in that left-hand side. But at the end of the day, United have enough talent and enough ability. I mean, in the last 6 months, and since Carrick came in, they were the best team in the league. So I do believe they carry on that form. Even with Champions League coming in, I still think they're one of the 4 best teams. And honestly, this 2nd to 4th, maybe even 5th, is very interchangeable. I think 10 points will be the maximum distance between all these 4 teams. And I think it's going to be United that finishes the highest of the chasing pack. And they're all chasing, of course, Arsenal in 1st place. I think Arsenal, they haven't really strengthened too much. They bring in Konsa, very good defender, but I don't think he's going to be a starter when, Timber or Saliba, Gabriel, and Capia Cavario, those guys are fit. I don't think he's going to be a starter. They bring in Solis, who to me is just a younger Trossard. I don't see too much improvement in that position. But Arsenal didn't really need to strengthen too much. The other teams around them didn't do enough, in my opinion, to close the gap, right? Like I mentioned, these teams all have good players. Some of them have good depth, but it's not enough quality and depth combination for any of them to beat out Arsenal to the league. So I do believe Arsenal go back-to-back and win the title. Now, how they win it is going to be interesting. I don't believe it can be the same style last season. You're not going to be able to maul goalkeepers and defenders on set pieces and just it's not going to work next season. You're not going to be able to take time on corner kicks and all the gamesmanship and all. We've seen it already in the Super Cup, in the World Cup. Takes long on a throw-in, lose a throw-in. On a corner, it becomes a goal kick. So the way they played last season, I don't think it's how they're going to win the league this year. I think they might actually go a little bit back to that 2023 season, 2023, where you saw Odegaard 15 goals, Saka 15 goals, Martinelli 15 goals. I think you're going to see a lot more from Arsenal in that regard. You're going to see them play a little bit more free-flowing football. I think it will still generate positive results and still win them the league this upcoming season. But in doing so, we need more from Saka. You're the star boy. More from you. Odegaard, you need more from you. The defense won Arsenal the league title last season, but you saw in the second half of the season, it tapered off a little bit. The defense looked a little bit weaker, waned off a little bit more, and that's because, injuries happen. That's because the wear and tear of the season. Starting the season off without Saliba, Arsenal's defense will not be as strong as it was last season. I'm just going to call it what it is. You're losing your best defender. It will not be as strong as it was last season, especially in this first half of the season. So you're going to need to be more free-flowing in attack and score more goals in attack. That's the way they win the league, and I still think they have enough to do so. So Arsenal are my champions back-to-back seasons. So from 5th to 1st, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, Man United, and Arsenal back-to-back champions in the Premier League. Now the relegated 3, you might call it lazy, you might call it simplistic, but I'll tell you the order I have it in, right? Finishing rock bottom, in my opinion, is going to be Hull City. I look at Hull City, when I watched a couple of their games in the championship last season, when I watched the promotion matches last season, Hull City do not have enough good players to last in the Premier League, in my opinion. I might be wrong. They might bring in some star, and he's the best promoted player we've ever seen. But from what I've seen so far, I don't believe Hull City can stay up. Below, just above them, I have Ipswich Town. Ipswich, we remember them a couple seasons ago. They were decent. But yet again, I look at them, I don't think they have enough players in their team that are good enough to do anything in the Premier League. I just don't believe it. And above them, I have Coventry City, who I think, honestly, if any of these two teams were to stay up, it would be them. I think they have the best squad of the promoted teams. They have generally players in their team that can make it in other Premier League teams so far. I look at guys like Jack Rodoni, very, very good attacking midfielder, 8 kind of player. I look at Caleb Urinki, very, very good at the World Cup. I look at somebody like, I think they just signed Onyeka. We obviously know he's been in the Premier League before. Either one of them signed Onyeka, maybe Ipswich or Coventry, they signed Onyeka. Ellis Sims, he can bag a couple goals in the Premier League. So they have players that are decent enough to last in the Premier League. I just don't believe they're good enough as a team to stay up at all. So those are my bottom 3, Coventry, Hull, and Ipswich Town. Now, top scorer, again, you might think it's lazy, but until somebody beats out Erling Haaland, I don't think anybody can beat out Erling Haaland. He's just he's so complete as a striker, honestly. And I think this City team are going to rely heavily on him going into this season. They understand the control that they've had for years is not going to be there as much this season. They understand there might be a little bit more openness to Man City games, right? People are not going to be as fearful of them as they were in years past. So that means you might get a little bit more open space to run into for Erling Haaland. You might get a little bit more counterattacks. You might get a little bit more of that Dortmund-style Haaland that we saw in the Bundesliga. We see a little bit more of that in the Premier League this season. Cherki will be feeding him. Doku will be feeding him. Semenyo will be feeding him. Ele Anderson will be feeding him. Guys from back line. Nunez, Aït-Nouri, Vardio, Nico O'Reilly, they will all be feeding balls to this guy, Erling Haaland. I think he will just bag 20, 25 goals again this season. But not just because of him. I look at everybody else in the league. Nobody can match 20, 25 goals consistently the way he can. Or you look at Arsenal. They'll share the shifts with Havertz and with Gyökeres. They'll dilute each other's goals. Isak, I'm still not, I have to see what he does at Liverpool, but I don't think he's going to score 25 goals, in the Premier League. Sesko, he'll miss some games. Cunha, he'll lose some minutes to Rashford. Rashford will lose some minutes. They'll share out the minutes and the goals, so it won't work. João Pedro, I don't think he's a 20 goal scorer kind of guy either. So all these other contending teams, I just think they have too many holes in their goal scoring department or too many circumstances that will prevent them from even getting to 20, 25 goals this season. Haaland doesn't have those same restrictions, and obviously he's better than all those guys, so he's going to score 20, 25 goals and be the top scorer in the Premier League this upcoming season. Top assister, who else? The most creative player in the Premier League, the highest volume creator in the Premier League, Bruno Fernandes. There's a couple reasons why I think Bruno will be the number one assister so far next season. One, when Carrick came in and he moved Bruno to that 10th position, Bruno was creating chances out of thin air. He was creating like 5 chances a game. It seemed like a ridiculous rate. And honestly, in Mbeumo, Cunha, Sesko, they were still missing chances. Casemiro was missing chances. This season, I think he will still create the same volume of chances. I still believe they have one of the best attacks in the Premier League. They will score a lot of those chances. And even though you have Tielemans coming in that maybe might take some corner kicks and some free kicks here and there, maybe dilute his creative numbers, I still believe he will comfortably get 15 plus assists. And likewise with Haaland, all the chasing pack, they don't really have guys that A, can create like Bruno, but B, have other players that can take away from the chances created, right? Look at Arsenal. Rice and Saka will take the set pieces. Odegaard sometimes takes set pieces. Too many guys diluting creative numbers. Same thing with City. Cherki here and there. Ele Anderson here and there. Diluting each other's numbers. Liverpool, Wirtz and Szoboszlai. Chelsea, Palmer and Rodgers. And it's too much dilution going on. Reece James. But for United, it's going to be heavily Bruno. Sometimes maybe Tielemans. But it most likely heavily Bruno Fernandes. And that's why he will be the top assister in the Premier League again this season. Maybe not quite breaking the record again, but still very, very good numbers, I believe, next season. Best manager. It's a tough one. It's a tough one because you could say Iraola gets Liverpool to second place. Good season. You could say Arteta goes back to back. Okay, good season. You could say Carrick, first full season, second place, good season. You could say Maresca, second place, good season. You could say any one of these guys getting their teams up into the challenging for the title is a good season. You could say one of the new boys stay up, good season. You could say anything, but at the end of the day, I do believe the team that will make the biggest jump from where they were to where they're going to, it's 2 teams, really. It's Spurs with De Zerbi, and it's Chelsea with Alonso. I believe it will be Chelsea. I believe Chelsea with the 1 game a week, obviously one of the best squads in the league, the style of play that Xabi Alonso is going to bring to this team, the efficiency and the potency that they will have in that attack, the control they will have in that midfield, I think all of that will contribute to Xabi Alonso winning the Manager of the Season trophy at the end of the season. Honestly, I put Chelsea at 5th place. Anything could happen. We saw United finish at 3rd last season. I believe Chelsea, overall, probably have a better squad than United did at the start of last season. So, and maybe even a better manager starting the season, right? Amorim hampered United last season. I do believe Chelsea can make a run for top 3. I think they'll finish top 5. But Alonso will be so good that he will win Manager of the Season in the Premier League this upcoming season. That is my belief, and I'm sticking by it, all right? So, Alonso, the style play, I think Chelsea will be very, very good to watch this season, right? They'll be very, very entertaining. They'll play some of the best football in the Premier League this season, and I think that will all contribute to Xabi Alonso being the Manager of the Season. Now, the Young Player of the Year, so many options. The Max Daumans, I don't know if Guarnieri will still be here at Arsenal, but Guarnieri, Lewis Skelly, Nico O'Reilly, is he 22 yet? Is he 21? I don't know how old he is yet. Maybe he still qualifies. Maybe he still gets it. Trey Neone at Liverpool. Who does Chelsea have that's young? Any one of these players. Esteval, Quenda, they all seem to be 19 years old anyways. But I'm actually going to go with Rio Ngomoa. I'm going to go with Rio Ngomoa because I believe not only is he the best teenager in the Premier League, I also believe he will get the most opportunities of any teenager in the Premier League. 21 and under is the limit, but I believe out of all those players, he will get the most opportunities. I've seen so many articles and Liverpool creators talking about how he's going to have a bigger role to play this season. That Salah has not been replaced, right? Obviously, you can't replace him, but we also haven't gotten anybody, of starter quality so far that we can say, okay, this guy's going to start for sure for Liverpool next season. Gakpo might leave, and that would even enhance my belief in Rio Ngomoa being, the young player of the season. Last season, about 19 games, 5 starts, 2 goals, 1 assist, 500 or so, 80 or so minutes. This season, I'm expecting all of that to double, maybe even triple. I'm expecting 1,000 or so minutes. I'm expecting 20-something or so games played. I'm expecting, 10 GA or thereabout. I'm expecting a huge leap from him this upcoming season. Not just because of him and his ability, but also Liverpool will play better football under Iraola. More attacking, create more chances, score more goals. The same way he did under Bournemouth. With Bournemouth, he would do that with Liverpool and get the most out of their attacking players. And Rio Ngomoa will be one of those guys to benefit from Iraola's style and brand of football. And I think he will be the young player of the season in the Premier League this upcoming season. Breakout Star. Now, Breakout Stars are a very tricky one, right? You could just say one of the guys from the promoted sides can show up and show out. You can say a new player signed from French league or something comes to one of these teams and he's the Breakout Star. We never heard of him. We don't know anything about him. But I'm actually going to go with Caleb Yarinki in Coventry City. I'm going to go with him. He just signed from Nordsjælland this summer, and the reason I'm going with Caleb Yarinki is I'm not going to sit up here and pretend like I watched Nordsjælland play football last season. I've never watched Danish football in my life. I've never watched the league before in my life. So I don't even know how you can watch it. I don't know where it's streaming in the US. But the reason I'm picking him is because I saw him at the World Cup for Ghana. And what I saw from him was a box-to-box engine, tackling, driving with the ball, passing, midfielder, all around, all action, everything midfielder. The next guy in the Premier League, I think, that one of these big teams will look at and say, I need an 8 that can do it all. I need a 6, end-to-end that can do it all. Caleb Yarinki can be that guy moving forward. And I think he's going to be key, instrumental in Coventry City and how they played this season. You're not going to have a lot of possession. A lot of games you're going to be defending, looking for the counter-attack. You have a guy that can drive with the ball, a guy that can pick a pass. It's still maybe not his strongest area, but he can pick a pass here and there. But most importantly, the physical attributes he brings, as long as his tackling and his technique as well, he's going to be key for them in that midfield. Honestly, will be key in getting them a couple results here and there. Instrumental player. I think Caleb Yarinki will be the breakout star in the Premier League. Most people don't even know who he is. Unless you watch the World Cup or watch Ghana, you probably have no idea who he is. I mean, he came from Nordsjælland. Unless you watch Danish football, I'm sure you don't know who he is. But I have belief that he can be the breakout star in the Premier League this season, and that's why he is my pick. The Coventry City midfielder will be the breakout player of the season. Last 2 categories. Overachieving team. Tough one. You could say Chelsea because they'll probably finish top 4. You could say Spurs because of back-to-back 17th place finishes. It can't get worse. I mean, if they just finish in Europe, that's technically overachieving. But there's too much expected of those London clubs for me to look at them and say they're overachieving by finishing in the top 6. You're supposed to finish there. That's why you're one of the big 6 clubs, allegedly. But actually, I'm going to go with Leeds United. Because what I saw from Leeds United last season was a team that gave all the top teams a lot of trouble. Chelsea, Liverpool, United, City, all very difficult games against Leeds United. Obviously, only Arsenal were the team to just blow them out of the water. But what they did, controlling games, created opportunities for the likes of Calvert-Lewin, Noah Okafor, very, very tactically astute team. Daniel Farker has his boys running, and they're winning the ball back. They're pressing high. They're creating chances. They're scoring goals. And now they've signed Harry Wilson, who I think in that setup, wow, that is going to be beautiful football to watch. A guy like that now creating for the likes of Calvert-Lewin and all these guys up top is going to be huge for Leeds. I think they honestly could break into that top 8 and start doing well again. I mean, Leeds are a historic club. Leeds have been successful in England in the past. It's long overdue for them to be back in Europe and back amongst the best. So I do believe that Leeds will be the overachieving team in the Premier League. They had a good season last season. I think this season they take it up another level, and they finish maybe in those top 8 positions and get Europe next season. Underachievers, I'm going to go with a team that has lost several of their best players over the last couple of years. Lost their best player last season, have now lost their manager. A lot of change happening in the club, and that is Bournemouth. Bournemouth, in my opinion, will be the underachieving club in the Premier League this season. Losing Iraola is a monumental loss, honestly. I think from where they were last season, the football they played, there's going to be a huge drop-off. And I hate to see it because I like Bournemouth. Last couple of seasons, I really liked them. I've enjoyed watching their football, but it could be a dark couple of years for them. Marco Rosa comes in. He's a good manager. Had some good stints in Germany. But will it be enough for them to get back to those heights that they reached under Iraola? I'm not exactly sure. So Bournemouth, in my opinion, will be the underachieving team in the Premier League this upcoming season. You can also talk about Newcastle. Newcastle losing, some players, losing their manager. Bruno G and Tonali going, huge losses. They could be, falling by the wayside as well, but they already had a bad season last season. Them finishing around that area wouldn't really be underachieving, in my opinion. It would just be kind of more of the same. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing a team or so there, but those are my picks for this upcoming Premier League season. Guys, I hope I'm right. I hope in a year's time I can come back to this video and feel vindicated in my picks. But as always, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments in the section below. I want to hear your thoughts, and I will see you all very, very soon. And very, very soon literally means tomorrow. Arsenal, Coventry City to kick off the Premier League. Much more games over the weekend as well. Chelsea playing, Liverpool playing, United, Man City, Real Madrid, Barcelona. I'll be covering so many games over the course of the weekend. So, of course, subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Peace out.